And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're going to be taking a look at Mutant Meeples from Ted Alspach. Now, Mutant Meeples is a game about superhero meeples, these little miniature people, and it's actually kind of a puzzle type game. A whole lot of people can play this game at one time. The game that this is based on an old game called Ricochet Robots by Alex Randolph, and Ted acknowledges that in the rule book, but he takes it and adds basically special abilities. Woohoo! Okay, like special abilities, like the superhero theme. The superhero theme, of course, is just kind of a pretense to give the different meeples special abilities. But like I said, the game is a puzzle-style game. The best way to explain it to you is to, explain it to you. Here is the board at the beginning of the game. Actually, at the beginning of the game, you're going to take each of these different meeples and randomly place them, and they're kind of in a diagonal line. So we're just pretending that this is partially through the game. And each player is going to have a team of wannabe superheroes. You'll have a little token that shows you each of the heroes, and you have a reference guide here that tells you their special abilities, and then these numbers here will mark the rounds. At the beginning of each round, what you're going to do is you're going to turn over two random letters. Okay, the first letter you turn over corresponds to a column, and the second one you turn over corresponds to the row. So there's P-I, and that is where the crime is being committed, at the intersection of P and I. Now, you are trying to get to that in the most efficient way possible using these wannabe superheroes on the board. Now, the game that Ricochet Robots is kind of the base of this. All these mutants here have super speed, which means they can run really fast. They just have a really difficult time stopping. So the only way they can stop is if they hit a wall or another meeple. So for example, this one here, you say, well, this black meeple can get it because he can just go up here, but he will go all the way till he hits this wall at the very end. Now, he could bounce off that wall, and when he bounces off, it go either direction. So he go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here he bounces off a meeple. 9, 10. Still not going to get there. So how do you get to this? You're going to have to use a combination of meeples to get to him. Now, it is possible that it only takes one. You know, if the crime had happened here, I could say, oh, he can get there in one shot. However, each of these meeples has a special ability that they can use to get there. The special abilities are, the green character here can jump over 2 spaces, even buildings. That's what these lines are considered to be, buildings. The gray piece can pass through 1 wall per turn. The blue gentleman can beam directly to one of these blue spots on the board. The brown character here can stop 1 space before he gets to the edge of a building. The red character can move 1 space in any direction before or after a move. The white character can do the same thing, although it's diagonal. The yellow guy can wrap around the board like Pac-Man. And the black meeple here can basically use anybody's special power. So he has the abilities, but each of these guys can only use their power once. So what you're going to do is everyone's looking at the board at the same time. And so let's say, for example, I look at the board and I say, oh, I think I can do this in 7 moves. So what I do is I look at my board down here and I say, okay, I'm going to be able to do this using the gray piece, and then the blue piece, and then the yellow piece. And I can do that in 7, so I take the number 7 here. Once that happens, I will then start a timer, and the round is going to end, but other people can possibly find a better solution. So this guy over here says, okay, I can do it in 6 moves, and I can do it using the white piece and the black piece. You have a maximum of 3 meeples that you can use, but you don't have to. You can use 1 or 2. So, once everyone has gone, so let's say the guy here, this is just these 2 players playing against each other. The guy with 6 goes first. Now, he hopefully will get it correct. So he says, okay, I can do this in 6 moves. So he says, all right, let's see. I'm going to move this white one here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to use a special ability to go diagonal 1, 5. And then the black piece will go and stop there for 6. Okay, so he just did it in 6 moves. So that's correct. So he got it. We don't even need to check the other guy's moves, but I'll just show you another one. The guy who had said it was 7, this gentleman here can go through a wall, so he would have gone 1. And then the blue piece would have gone 2, 3, 4, stopping here at the wall. And then the yellow piece would have went 5, 6, 7, and got to the spot. Now, these round tokens are here just so you can remember where people are in case you mess up. If you are correct, the meeple that you used to get there is now officially a superhero for your team. So you'll take his marker and you'll turn it over and you can no longer use him for the rest of the game. If you are incorrect, you will take one of these superheroes who joined your team and turn them back to their recruit side. And there you go. And then you just keep going. So you're trying to get 6 of these guys. So as the game progresses, you will have fewer and fewer options. Now, this is the basic game. You can see here, this is the board, but if you go to the other side, which is what challenging people would do, you can see there's a whole lot less walls on this side, and so there's going to be a much more difficult time to stop. The game also, you can also get, through different methods, an expansion where there's 2 other people. This guy can swap with other meeples. This guy can move any number of spaces in one direction that he wants to go, but that's all he can do. He can't take any other moves. And then there's other variants. You can add more pieces to the board, more wall pieces, and you can handicap the game if someone does better. But essentially, it's going to be the first person to get rid of, to have as many of these guys join their team as possible, so finding the solutions. I always enjoyed Ricochet robots. I liked the idea of it. I thought it was very puzzly, though, and someone who was better than other people would win. The Mutant Meeples, the idea of adding special powers really appealed to me, and once I play it, I really have a lot of fun. Because before you were just thinking about, okay, I need to move these guys around the board as best as possible. And it is possible that sometimes there'll be a situation where it doesn't matter. You have a maximum, I think, there's 10 moves per piece and 24 total moves that you can take in your turn, and it is possible that it's impossible to get to some crimes quickly. But that's rare, it really is, especially on the easy board. I almost never have seen it happen where you couldn't get there in any way. While on a harder board it is possible. And one of the things that I really enjoy about this game, I love that there's these special powers, because utilizing them in the best way, that black meeple is really handy because he can copy anyone else's power. And so I usually do my best to make sure the black meeple is not the one to land on it, because I can use him as the game progresses for powerful ways, and I don't want to lose him early on. But what I like is that the game is really balancing in that regard. If you're playing me, and of course you're better at this than I am, we know that, okay? You know your brain, you know my brain. So you're beating me, but as you're beating me, you're losing meeples that you can use, so hopefully at some point, I will have my whole array to use, and you've used up 4 of yours. I should be able to compete better with you, and I think that's a neat mechanic, that back and forth as you lose them. The meeples themselves are easy. At the beginning of the game, you'll find yourself looking at these charts time and time again. The symbols on the tokens help, and the powers aren't really that complicated. Move 1 space diagonally, go through a wall, and after a little bit, boom, you know them all. You don't even have to look at the reference sheet at all. It's neat. I think it's expandable. You can add more meeples. I mean, but even if there was never anything else added to it, this is going to add a lot of fun. You can have a lot of people around the table. The box here, let's see, it says that it goes up to 7 players that are supported because you have the charts and because of the special meeples and stuff. However, you could have more people just gather around and try to attempt solutions. It actually is a solitaire thing. You know, you can just set up a puzzle and see if you can solve it by moving the meeples there. So if you're puzzly at all, you will really enjoy this. It can become extreme brain burner, but at the same time, because of the powers, I think it's a little easier, at least at the beginning. So Mutant Meeples, a very enjoyable game, a nice upgrade of Ricochet robots. Basically just gets that one out of your collection. I'll never play Ricochet robots again after playing this, because this adds much more. A lot of fun. Haven't seen a lot of people buzzing about this, and I hope you do, because it's a good game.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find the latest board game news at Dicetowernews.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Fun Again Games, the world's best game source. Fun Again Games has over 5,000 games available. Check them out at funagain.com.
Shut the door!
There.